Hello everyone, and welcome to Chapter 7 of my Call of the Armor 0% Growths Low Turn Count playthrough. Chapter 7 is normally considered the hardest map of the early game. A wide open forest map that is filled to the brim with wyverns and pegasi that seem to be able to attack you no matter where you are. In addition, the map has a smattering of treasure chests and thieves that will go after them. So even if you are taking on this hack in a more casual setting, you are very incentivized to go fast for this clear. Finally, there's the boss, who, if you take too long, will generate shadow clones of herself and charge you down, right as it seems like you are able to seize and finish this map. It is because of all these reasons and more that we are deciding to make Kim our first promotion of the run. She is becoming a paladin. Promotions work pretty much identically to how they work in FE8, meaning that Paladin's 8 move make it a no-brainer as the selection there over Great Knight's 6 move. In addition, you might notice a couple of my units here have chest keys. That indicates we are going to steal some treasure before the thieves get the opportunity. And aside from Kim and Noki, most of these units are not at all utility focused. They are just focused on combat, just getting rid of all these enemies in our way. That is, of course, why we deployed Floor, the Chapter 1 archer. What can I say? The map is full of flyers, and even the overall better units of like Hazel or whatever cannot two-shot that wyvern that starts right next to us. They are that beefy. Going back to Kim, her stats certainly looked unimpressive in the promotion page. There were a lot of single digits there, but even besides the +1 move, there's a lot of important stats that she gets from the meager-looking bonuses on the promotion page. Notably, her 13 defense and 10 resistance make it unlikely for enemies to target her, which is nice as she's just going to burst out into the middle of this map as soon as she can. And the 8 speed, despite looking very unassuming, is actually super important for this map. Most of the enemies have 7 speed, meaning that when Kim picks up Kuija, as long as she doesn't weigh herself down with any weapons, none of the enemies on this map can double her. Or at least none of the relevant ones. That's where the weapon drop from the last map comes in, the Levis Lancia. It's just kind of a better steel lance. It is stronger than the Iron Lance, it's more accurate, and it's lighter. Kim's iconic Killer Lance unfortunately does weigh her down, so she needs to equip the Levis Lancia here. It's more threatening than the Slim Lance, so enemies will see that she can counter, at least for some small amount of damage. And so they're going to target Itoro instead. Itoro joined our army last map, and he is much more offensively focused than Kim. Which is nice, because even though Kim's right next to Itoro, Itoro is going to be targeted by all 5 of these enemies here. He had a not insignificant chance of death, but thanks to the Lance Reaver, which he can equip, all he had to do was dodge the relatively inaccurate Lance attacks. Itoro specializes in swords, which is why he was able to equip the Lance Reaver, but we do want to train his Lance rank at least a little bit for Chapter 10. In addition, you can see those 4 units on the right are largely dedicated to training up Mac. We need him to hit level 10 in a few maps, and he needs to catch up on that goal. But Itoro, wielding the Steel Lance because it gives double weapon EXP, is able to finish off that wyvern he drew in on turn 1. And now we are clearing up the rest of these enemies. One, because it makes for simpler clear, and 2, because Noki is right there, and Noki does not like to get targeted by enemies, as you might have noticed. Thankfully, her plan here is loose enough that I can position her so that no enemies can reach her on either turn 1 or turn 2. They're all going to be blocked off by real combat masters like Kuija, you know. And Sofia, who is joining us for the first and maybe the last time. They're wielding their iconic Killer Lance, which I just need to rig crits for a lot. Sofia, Killian, and Kim are all on this map, and rigging crits is their specialty. You can see Kim's extra special because she can crit things and not kill them. Just a wonderful unit. She is now swarmed by 3 units, 2 of which are blocking our path, so we need to get rid of them. The reason the Wyvern is blocking our path is because of one of the most important side objectives here, and that is picking a unit to recruit. There are 2 possible units we could use to recruit here, and one of which is Duke Sunwing, the Wyvern Lord. Duke Sunwing is, pre-promoted, so they have 8 move and pretty good stats for this point in the game. So that made them a no-brainer in the pick for which one. The other unit we could have recruited is Taika the Shaman. She's down in the bottom right. I like Shamans, but she has 5 move and not super impressive stats, so it's an easy choice every single day of the week. We're gonna go with Duke Sunwing. Taika, in fact, drops a red gem and also drops experience for Mac, so we need to kill her, unfortunately. But Sunwing is very notable as they're a Wyvern Lord that specializes in swords, which is unique, and it lets them wield the Light Brand, which they actually join with. And that's super pivotal for getting a 4-turn here, as we need to have Kuija stand where that Armor Knight there is standing. Sunwing can cleanly 1-round with the Light Brand because it targets the armor's weaker resistance stat. And we can finally see why we brought Noki, and that is, of course, for rescuing purposes. Kuija looks like she's in a lot of danger here, but because Kim is at such low HP, and Noki can get one-shot by that general, we need to rig that, but Kuija herself, not in any danger. Turn 4, and the final turn that we spend on this map, we can once again see Duke Sunwing's combat prowess in a little bit, but in my dry run this was actually a 5-turn. I once again saved a turn here in a pale imitation of Toffee, and the one important thing we miss out on is the Speed Wing, which we could have grabbed in a 5-turn. We also miss out on a red gem and a Master Seal, but those 2 are so out of the way, I don't think I even could have gotten them in a 5-turn. The treasure we do manage to get is a Guidon Bow, which is a hilariously bad bow, which we're going to sell. And we also get a Mend Staff, which, if you can believe it, this is the first Mend Staff in the game. And that's going to be very important because Mend gives more staff EXP than Heal does. So that's going to be Mac's personal weapon for a little bit once we get him to promotion. But Sunwing, here with the Harpoon, can once again cleanly 1-round a Druid in our way. And just like that, that's going to be Chapter 7, cleared in 4 turns. And now we'll be moving on to Chapter 8. Chapter 8, in contrast with Chapter 7, is a very easy clear. Probably the easiest clear in the entire run. It's another Seas map, where you can pick your own tile to seize. There are 2 options. There is the Northern Castle, where it's guarded by a boss, but it's closer to the starting point, and you get a blue gem for killing that boss. The Southern Plains are your other option. It is not guarded by a boss, but it is farther away, and it doesn't give us a blue gem. So you can probably guess which one I'm going to go for. The northern path is blocked off by mountain range, but, you know, we've been using Noki for like 7 chapters or whatever so far, and we're not about to stop it, because she once again trivializes this mountain range. Sunwing also trivializes it, and actually has the stats to back it up, because there's a couple enemies near the throne that we need to be worried about. One thing we also need to be worried about is a couple short-term investment objectives. Of course, we're still training Itoro's Lance rank. He needs to hit C by Chapter 10, and it's really not a super hard objective to meet, but I go, like, way hard into investing in him in this map for whatever reason. There's also 2 villages that we all obviously want to visit, and a shop, which, you know, Kim has the red gems for. This first village, which only Kim can really visit on turn 1, gives us 2 recruitable units. Abdul the Pupil is useless and we bench him, but Lily the Pegasus Knight is the last big investment target we have before the big shift in this run. She needs to hit level 10 by Chapter 11. And we're in Chapter 8, so that's kind of a tall order. We're definitely going to be investing in her pretty heavily. This is also the last map where Mac can be unpromoted. We really want him to have access to staves as soon as possible. And so he is going to hit level 10 by the end of this map. We have him lure 2 enemies there on enemy phase for the extra chip EXP. We have Ikechuku the healer here for kind of no reason. There's a lot of slack in this clear, if you couldn't already tell. Plenty of units that do pretty much nothing. But Mac gets another kill, and that clears the path for Kim, who is going to visit the shop next turn. William is heading towards the other village, and Luan blocks off that shaman from targeting him turn 2. Please don't notice that that shaman is not at all blocked off from targeting him turn 2. But the one neat little trick that we do in this clear is convoy warping that rapier that the cavalier drops. The rapier in this game is a generic weapon. Anyone with sea swords can use it. And by anyone I do mean Sunwing. It's kind of their best weapon to rig crits because they can't wield the killer lance. Lily, once she promotes, is going to be kind of the yang to Sunwing's yin. She'll have better speed, but worse defenses, and I think slightly worse attack, but she'll have lances to Sunwing's swords, which will mean those two both have meaningful niches in their own right. Lily, as you can see, is strong enough at base to kind of block off these other enemies from targeting Kuicha, which is nice, even though she faces her own chance of death. She faces like 3 50% hit rates and needs to dodge 2 of them. If she dodged the first one, then the Wyvern would have targeted Noki instead, but, you know, we want more experience for Lily, so it's actually pretty nice that the Wyvern targeted her. Our final turn, and you're gonna see we do all of the side objectives on this turn, but I decide to take on the main objective first. Sunwing needs to hit but not crit this boss with the rapier. Because we're going so hard into investing in Lily, why not give her this boss kill? And we can do another little convoy trick just by giving her this Axe Reaver for the best chance of hitting the boss. Super consistent boss kill, which is like pretty rare for my run. But you know, she gets to level 6 and a little bit past that, which is really nice. But we get that blue gem. William goes to the village so we can get this blue gem. And Mac gets that last bit of chip EXP so that he can hit level 10 for next map. Very nice there. For whatever reason, I opt to not give Alair this kill. I don't know why. Like, I guess I gotta go even harder to give Itoro that Lance rank. You get double Lance EXP when you get a kill. So, you know, boom. That's going to be super relevant and super hard to get. No, it's not. As you can see, this first vendor that we visit sells a member card. There's a super important secret shop coming up. But that's the last side objective. Thank you for watching. Chapter 8 is cleared in 3 turns, and I hope to see you for Chapter 9.